Hello, this is Sakamoto 3D1 and this is the 24th part of my Chivalry Medieval Warfare Weapon Guides. In this episode, we take a look at the heaviest hitting weapon in the game, the Maul. Vicious. The Maul is more commonly known as the sledgehammer. Developed for purposes of driving large spikes or nails, it is no surprise that it eventually found its way into the battlefield. Maul was used heavily by bandits, ruffians, or rioters, as it was common, easy to find, easy to fight with, and could simply overpower enemies. Although the striking end of the Maul is more commonly seen as a large piece of wood, there were variants with stone or iron heads that proved to be heavier and therefore more deadly. The Maul is the highest single damage weapon in the game of Chivalry. All attacks do blunt damage, and a large amount of that. The archer, when hit by an LMB, will take 100 damage to the head, 80 to the body, and 64 to the legs. This attack will kill the archer in one hit, but only to the head. The mouse wheel down attack is a little bit slower, but a lot more deadly. The archer, when hit by the overhead strike, will take 125 damage to the head, 100 to the body, and 80 to the legs. A truly devastating attack that can take down an archer in one hit. The mouse wheel up attack is noticeably quicker than the other more heavy-hitting counterparts, but it does pretty low damage. At only 40 damage to the head, 32 to the body, and 26 to the legs, the mouse wheel up attack is not as effective in its own right. The man-at-arms class does have some resistance to the Maul. However, the petty addition of some light armor does not help the man-at-arms' cause. The LMB attack against the man-at-arms will do 94 damage to the head, 75 to the body, and 60 to the legs. Incapable of one-hit kill, but still devastating. The mouse wheel down attack holds a heavy potency in the man-at-arms class on 117 damage to the head, 94 to the body, and 75 to the legs. This can kill a man-at-arms in one hit, but only to the head. The mouse wheel up attack is again best served as a combo starter or a quick finisher. At only 38 damage to the head, 30 to the body, and 24 to the legs, you'd be hard-pressed to try and kill an enemy using this attack only. The Vanguard holds slightly more resistance, but they will still fall rather quickly to the Maul. The LMB attack will do 88 damage to the head, 70 damage to the body, and 56 damage to the legs of the Vanguard. However, this slight resistance to the Maul is shortly dropped at the overhead attack, which will deal 109 damage to the head, 88 damage to the body, and 70 damage to the legs. The mouse wheel down attack is never a bad choice and will kill a Vanguard in one hit to the head. The mouse wheel up attack continues with its trend of low damage but quick speed. At 35 damage to the head, 28 damage to the body, and 22 damage to the legs, the Vanguard is highly resistant to this attack. The Knight, surprisingly, isn't all that strong against the Maul. The LMB will do a massive 75 damage to the head, 60 damage to the body, and 48 damage to the legs, more than capable of a two-hit kill, which is practically unheard of against the Knight. The mouse wheel down remains your best choice, however. At 94 damage to the head, 75 to the body, and 60 damage to the legs, the Knight will always fall in 2 consecutive hits from an overhead. The staff remains particularly ineffective as a Knight, at only 30 damage to the head, 24 to the body, and 19 to the legs. These numbers are relatively good against the Knight with other weapons, but fall short compared to the high damage of the other attacks of the Maul. Be warned when using the Maul. Due to its weight, the Maul drains stamina rapidly, leaving you unable to combo, block, and run effectively. Crouch whenever possible to regain this stamina and avoid the unnecessary loss of stamina by jumping. Remember, Knights can tank hits from most classes, so blocking is not always the best option. Instead, swing at your enemy while they are swinging. Trading damage with the Maul is always the best option, unless against the Vanguard. For our loadout, we look to build an all-out offensive build, one that sacrifices the luxuries of armor and speed for heavy hits and large damage output. The primary slot will hold the Maul. The secondary slot holds the Morningstar for increased reach, but still relatively high damage, useful for the quicker classes, such as an archer with a dagger or a man-at-arms with a Norse sword. The special slot will hold the throwing axes to provide some much-needed reach for the short Maul, while also keeping damage up at a maximum. Use the throwing axes when enemies try to stand off to you, or for a pesky Vanguard with a spear. When using the Maul, your enemies will fear you. Use this weapon to mangle them up and decimate their ranks. When push comes to shove, nothing is more rewarding than mauling your enemies to death.